And if you don't stop chit chatting, if you don't stop chit chatting, you can please get up and move out of the class.
Third, first.
Acha, we will do that. Third, first, C2.
On which chapter we are left?
Now we are going to very important chapter.
Glimpses of India. Handout glimpses of India.
This is very good.
कहाँ पर है?
It is in the other book.
ठीक है.
Okay. Glimpses of India. Why I wanted to show you how the bakers doesn't. This is the stick.
I will send bread. I'm gonna like bread.
Yes.
I'm gonna like whole wheat or
I
multigrain or
gluten free because I can't eat this one.
ball.
Are you allergic to the No, I am not allergic. This is the bowl. Okay, what we call in Goa.
It looks very sweet.
It is sweet.
What is it?
This is bowl. What you call this is actually the Goan bowl. In wedding times, yeah. In wedding times, it has a coconut base. It is sweet. It is no, not puran puri. It has a
taste like a
No, it doesn't taste like a puran puri. I ate bowl, so don't tell me it tastes like a puran puri. I know what a puran puri tastes like in bowl. It tastes a little bit like coconut sweet. If you're making coconut sweet, it tastes. It tastes like.
What is it? Like this.
It is like a dessert, so you can eat it like that. You have bangles. So this is your bangles. Now I give you one. This is not medu vada, this is bangles of which is mentioned in the Glimpses of India chapter. It is not a donut. This is a bread. Actually, it is a bread. It is a bread, but it is bagel is different. Bagel is. I showed you Goan bread bangle and you're looking at medu vada there.
That looks like that.
It looks like that. I agree, it looks like that, but it tastes totally different, na? Now, if a child likes it, if a child likes a children normally like sweet products.
Yes.
So these are your speciality of Goa. If you see, it is sugar coated. Look at this. It is kind of like a donuts.
Breakfast.
Understood. The circular, it is like a donut, but donuts are little bit puffy. This is like a flat donut which has sugar coating on it. Now these are all which are mentioned in your chapters which I am showing you in reality so that you know at least understand what. So this is your Goan bread. Okay. This is your Goan bread. I am showing you before I start with the chapter because you should know what it is.
One more time.
Yes, there is one more type. I forgot. Okay, so actually Goan is more of Portuguese because Portuguese settled in Goa. When Vasco da Gama came, most of them settled in Goa. That's it. Goan is influenced by Portuguese cuisine. Okay, so their traditional family work is baking bread and they are known as padder in Goa. The bakers are known as padder in Goa. The writer tells about his childhood days and his friendship with the bakers. In the morning, the jingling sound of the bamboo woke them from their sleep. Through one hand, the baker supported the basket on his head, and the other hand, the bamboo. So there is this picture. Let me come to this side. You see? Can you see this? This is basically that kind of stick which had a kind of a holder on top of it, and the basket was kept on the head. They carried it on the head, and that had bread in it. And this bamboo was, they would bang the bamboo on the
रोड आवाज आ रही है रोड पे क्यों क्या
You
आवाज
have
आ रही है?
ice cream.
बेहतर आ रहा है।
Ice cream, when they ring that particular bell, you know that ice cream fellow is coming. So when there was a baker, when a baker is selling a bread, what he would do is he would have a bamboo, and on that bamboo there was a basket on his head. That bamboo had a kind of a base. On that he would place that basket and he would sell that bread. He would not place it down like how we have fish. Fish, what happened? They carried in the basket, but they place it on the floor. This was placed on this bamboo which they were carrying. It is the basket. Common sense says that it will not touch the ground. No? But it is food, but that is the tradition which they had. They would place the bamboo on the basket on the bamboo. Okay, so that is why. And now, so the villagers were very fond of sweet bread known as bol. Just now I showed you. It's considered to be very auspicious in Goa. Whenever there's a marriage or very festivities and all that, that is served. Okay, it is one of the most essential marriage gifts. Bread sellers wore a particular clothes known as kabai. It is a single piece long frock, like have the kaftans, it's like that. All right, frock up to the knees. Yeah, they recorded this account on the pencil. Like, for example, if that somebody owes something, like he's bought so much of bread, so that person has to give me this much money. They would, instead of a record book, they would write it on the wall.
What if you rub it from the wall?
Then it is rough, but that is how trust was. Like in olden days, there were not so many robbers, and there will be definitely human tendency is that you have a tendency to flick, but not so much. Okay, they always looked happy and prosperous. So that's your first part of the book. Okay, so we are doing first slide.
Let's read.
Yes, we shall read.
Page number is 63.
This is not 63.
This is it will be around 63.
No, it will not be.
It will be 98. 185. Yes, 85. Wow. See now? 63. 63 नहीं होगा लेकिन
अबे यार
50, 73. हाँ वो ये पूरा
our elders are often
नहीं
heard
PDF है ना दिमाग आप पढ़िए फिर
पढ़ रहा हूँ ना our elders are often heard
often
weekend often बोलते हैं
तो weekend अमेरिकन वर्ड बोलता है हम यूरोपियन सीख
often our elders are often heard
Reminiscing.
तो weekend है क्या नहीं
मैं बोल रही नहीं वो शब्द our elders heard reminiscing
Often.
our elders are often heard
You are not learning American English. That's the only thing.
our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days.
So, Portuguese.
Ma'am is very
Portuguese.
Ronaldo नहीं हमारे पास क्या है
As I said, we are very keen on imitating others. You know that we are very keen. We cannot be original in our own self. You all are unique. That is a problem. When we accept that we are unique, we will be comfortable with our own skin. What have you had? You had something, you're high on something like that? Don't learn to imitate, be yourself.
And Portuguese and the famous loaves of bread. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Those age-old, time-tested furnaces still exist. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished.
Okay, wait. So,
Third.
reminiscing nostalgically, you know, whenever you think, like, why do elders do it? Because they remember you all did, like, as I said, it happens like you never enjoyed making a paper board and splashing into puddles and all that in your childhood. But, like, you know, certain rays, when first rain comes and that kind of childish, you know, that splashing on your friends, splashing on something, it was a fun activity. Yes, it is. But that is what memories are, and you are always nostalgic for it. When you leave your home, and you are bound to leave your home because for higher studies you may go out, you may stay somewhere, or you for work you may go out. You will always be nostalgic for your childhood memories, or maybe for your mother's homemade food, because you may not get that. So you have that nostalgia, and this is also talking about a pen picture, means basically it is talking about how he remembers that old Goa. Okay, and what it was famous for. Today itself it happened, like, you know,
Kaju.
not Kaju, that was not Kaju. It was talking about Mumbai only. We were discussing about how Mumbai was in the olden days and all that. So there was this community was there, and this only had one guava tree. You know what is guava, right? Your peru, what you call, not guava.
Guava.
Guava. Guava ne,
Guava.
not guava.
Guava.
Guava. Guava.
Plant.
Choose.
Pronunciation.
अरे सही.
Guava. अबे सही.
अब look, it is Indian English. यार Indian.
Indian English pronunciation or
Let's
let's hear.
Guava.
Yeah. Wow.
That's why I said guava. It's not guava.
But in Indian
In Hindi, here it is called Peru. Yes, but in Hindi, here it is called Peru. In Madhya Pradesh, it will be known as he. In if you talk about in certain place of Maharashtra, it is known as jam. Like your pani puri, it has various names. Puchka, all that. Golgappa, batashe, every this one. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, it is known as batashe also. What I'm saying is everybody. But here, as I said, English pronunciation, British pronunciation is guava. Vane. Guava. Listen, enough of the pronunciation is as simple as that. What I was saying that is, you feel at this was only a tree which, like, you know, this auntie would break and she would distribute in the whole neighborhood. So what I'm saying, that community feeling, that kind of like closeness, the kind of this child is this person whoever is written, he's reminiscing that, like, you know, he's like remembering all. Reminiscing is basically remembering, and you have this fond memories of it. You as a child will have fond memories of how you spend your summer holidays with you. Maybe you went to visit a particular place, or you have like yes, or you had visited certain, like, you know, places, or your grandparents' house. You have certain so you always like for like you try to think about, you have certain memories when you were very young, as a baby, maybe around 4 or 5 years, because that's where you start forming memories. That's how you start remembering memories. You will have like in that, like, you know, that place which was absolutely maybe a big ground, but later on, now when you go back, you'll find huge buildings over there. But you will remember that, like, you used to play with your friends here, and used to, like, you know, break fruits there, anything. Correct? That is what. This is how it is going to start. This is how the story starts. Like, he's remembering those olden days, how these Portuguese were there and how these people were there, which was all about bread. And bread was one predominant, if you know that. Bread is one of the predominant food eaten in Goa. You don't have chapatis or you don't have your bhakris. You have bread. Please go. I will push you to go. You want me to push you? I'll push you. Alright. So elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days. So those good old days who you always find हमारे ज़माने में. In Hindi it is said हमारे ज़माने में. Here it is called as good old days. Okay? The Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished. Basically now it is like world is changing, the traditions are changing. So now they are more of a rice eater. Okay, they are more of a rice eater, and they are known as sanas. Sanas are your idlis, what you have, but it's in different shape. All right, so they are known as sanas, which is very no. So it is eaten mostly in Goa now because bread is gone, outdated like that stuff. So those eaters of loaves have vanished, but the makers are still there. So the makers are the bakers. The bakers are still there in Goa. So we still have amongst us the mixers. Bread has to be mixed, right? Initially there was no machine, there was no churner, but they used to mix it with the hands. The molders, the molding of the bread, how they put it in the tin, right? The dough being put into tin, how for the this what you call to make the bangles. I just show you bangles, bread bangles, right? To make it, they managed to make it with hand. Okay, so the makers and those who bake the loaves. So you had, when you put it in furnaces, there it's not like your oven which you put a timer. Okay, this is the timer and you switch off the timer. This is the original furnaces where you put the bread. You have to till a certain time. It will get cooked and then you can take it out. Understood? How cakes are also this one. When they put it in the furnaces, you don't have your timers, right? So they would up till now you do it. You put a piece of toothpick or you put it in that. If it comes out clean, that means it is cooked. Otherwise, it is. You try that out for cakes.
That glass is there.
Glass. Okay. Those age-old, time-tested furnaces still exist. You use it now. If you go to Italy, you will find furnaces there which are the pizza is coming. Yeah, those kind of furnaces are there. Those were the bread where the breads were cooked. Up till now in Goa, you'll find those furnaces. They don't have those oven which you just put it in nowadays. That this modernized ovens are there. You put it in, click the timing. The timer has to be there. It has to set up. It was not like that. They had this knack of knowing when is a bread cooked and when that you have to take it out. So that kind, and you will not believe they become so expert that you will not find a burnt bread. The bread will be perfectly cooked without getting burnt. So that kind of knack, that kind of expert they were on that. The thud and the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo. Thud, remember when you're hitting bamboo against the stone, you can hear the thud sound, that blunt kind of a sound you will have. And the jiggle. Enough. Yes.
Batter. The traditional bakers bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as padder in Goa.
Because he doesn't know how to read. So it is passed from generation to generation, though now the tradition has changed. It's not necessary that the baker's son will become a baker or the engineer's son will become the engineer. Because in olden days that tradition was there. If you're a doctor, the doctor's son will become a doctor. That's how the tradition was working. Now parents have given liberty for the children to choose their career. It is like that. But yes, they expect, sometimes they wish that they carry on their career, their footsteps to take over the family business or take over that. But now they have given the liberty. Initially, it was always like the architect's son will become an architect, the teacher's son will become a teacher. Like that, it carried on. Like that is good.
During our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. He used to come at least twice a day. Once when he set out in the morning on his selling around, and then again, when he returned after emptying his huge basket, the jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? Was it for the love of the loaf? Not at all. The loaves were bought by some Basquine or Bastine.
Baskin or Bastine.
Baskin or Bastine, the maid servant of the house.
Baskin is a name, or Baskin is also a name. It can be the maid servant. It can be the name of the maid servant of the house.
Maid servant.
Maid servant, not
Maid servant.
male servant.
What we longed for were those bread bangles which we chose carefully. Sometimes it was sweet bread of special milk.
Stop. Now, what kind of relationship did the author have with the baker?
Umi.
Friendly.
Umi.
What is homie? You're right, using a slang in the English language.
Very friendly. Friendly.
BSR.
What line tells you that?
Our friend, companion.
So, friend, companion, and guide only friendly.
Idol.
ID.
Idol.
See.
Thank you.
Yeah.
IDEAL.
Ideal.
Ideal. Idol is your Indian idol.
I thought it was that only. Idol. Because
You're not talking about Indian idol, not inspiration. This is not calling inspiration, and neither is an ideal. It is showing you the companionship, the kind of bond which they had, the kind.
Non-BSR. Let's finish.
What are you talking about?
they have a friendly
Brothers from
relationship.
So I said, is it friendly? Does friendly suffice as an explanation? No, to what we were discussing.
Companionship, guidance.
Guidance. Now the guide is guidance. We changed the word to guidance. And I'm scolding her instead of scolding y'all. At least she is very interactive in the class. Y'all are,
We are also interactive.
yeah, I can see from which angle you are interactive. I know that. You want me to describe? Because in the first month of August, there is an open day.
Oh, shit. Exam.
exam nahi hai na, wo log to आएंगे.
Oh.
So let me be interactive with them.
It is not necessary.
No, I can be extremely interactive. To the core, I can be interactive with them. Give them details of what you do in the class with video proof.
That's what क्या हंस रहा है? Fourth is Saturday, right? Fourth is Saturday.
The dates I'm not telling you, but yes, we shall see.
Yeah.
Which day?
Alright, he used to come twice a day. So that when he used to come to the author's house, it was twice a day. Time. Then once when he set out in the morning, so when he's ready, he's baked the bread freshly out of the oven, he goes and visits them. And then when he returns, his empty basket, nearly empty basket, because there must be something in it. Jingling sound thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet him and greet him. They were excited, like how you're excited for ice cream. Remember when the bell would ring, you would put the ice cream fellow, like that. The children in Goa we were talking about at that particular time were very excited. Why? What was the reason they were excited? Because he would bring that bread bangles. That was the reason why they were excited. And they would sometimes have, because they would get to choose. Initially in the morning when he was going, he would get to choose which kind of donut they wanted, that kind of sweet bangles, what it is. It's like a donut. So which kind of donut? It had different kind of, it had a special make. It was handmade. So different shapes, different way of this. shaping it or maybe adding something to it, the taste to it. Yeah, so it had that. Okay, next.
The baker.
The baker made his musical entry on the scene with the jang jang sound of his specially made mango. Jang jang. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other banged down the bamboo on the ground. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild review and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. But we would not give up. We should climb a bench or the we would climb a bench or the
Parapet, parapet.
parapet and peep into the basket. Somehow I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves for the elders and the mangoes for the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths properly, and why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush, and why was it necessary at all? The tiger never brushed his teeth, or he would wash and clean up everything so nicely.
Like typical children.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And मेरे को क्या?
Yeah, so that's the way you react. That is exactly how you do
Come
it.
to brush my teeth
Because babool, na,
And they used to use me.
they would use neem, even
Neem
mango.
was there, no?
Why mango? Because
Okay.
mango plant, if you see, Goa has a lot of mango trees. So mango was easily accessible, no? So they would take the mango leaf, this one and branch because they are tender, right? And that's what you require to brush your teeth. In those days, the old days. That's why he's reminiscing, right? He's remembering all those kind of memories. So for them, yeah, don't make a face right now just because you have Colgate. Before that, there was no Colgate.
Dabur.
No, there wasn't.
Patanjali.
Patanjali also came recently. In olden days, there was no Patanjali.
I don't like Patanjali. It's very sad. It's very soily.
Okay. The baker made his musical entry on the scene by the jang jang sound of his
Chung chung.
I am not giving the Hindi version of it.
What is chung chung?
That is the English version of the pronunciation, rather of the sound. And why are you like a witch today, by the way? Your hair is always open.
No, my hair is very very good conditioner.
Poofy. Are you a dog where it is poofy? You
Very
can use the correct term. Frizzy. It has a lot of volume. Use that.
Yes.
Poofy. I remember a poodle like that. You know, the poodle is poofy. Yeah, that's what I can remember that. Alright. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other hand banged the bamboo on the ground. Remember, it had a kind of a stand. So if you keep the bamboo standing, it would stand and the basket was placed on top of it. Okay? He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place the basket on the vertical ground. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke. They would scold the kids because kids used to crowd around them. So the adults would move them away, shoo them away rather, and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. So this kind of Portuguese where we are talking about, again, we are talking about the upper class of kind of thing. They had servants in their house to take care, and the loaves were given for servants because the loaves bread was had for breakfast. Okay, so that's what. So you get a typical upper class kind of living in that particular area. A simple sentence note, remember, it will tell you what kind of system was there and what kind of class system was there. Here, but we would not give up. So these children were very curious because they knew that treat they wanted. So they would not give up. You would climb on a bench or the parapet. You know what is a parapet?
No. Cupboard.
This is windowsill, right? On the windowsill, near the staircase, you have this kind of like this flat surface. Staircase has that is known as a parapet. Or remember your fencing, when you have this wall around the as a boundary, that flat surface is known as a parapet.
Ma'am, this is a fact.
That is a fence. Seriously, you children, after explaining also you don't understand.
Sorry.
Here, this can you see?
Yes.
This is known as Hindi, Marathi.
क्या बोला इसने?
Hindi. See this can you see this boundary is there now, and that here on top that is a parapet
Sit
wall.
on the terrace.
Yes, this flat surface.
घर पे.
हाँ, जिसके भी घर पे.
छत पे होता है ना ये.
Yeah, this can you see this marble surface? Can you see this grey surface?
Yes,
That is a parapet. Binti nahi, binti is bricks. This is bricks. This one, this surface, so everything cannot be a parapet. This is a
हाँ
bench.
समझ गया.
तो भिंडी में बोल.
Sorry.
Binti
Parapet.
Bricks.
दिमाग की मतलब bricks नहीं है.
Bricks नहीं होता है, दीवार होता है.
Can you see? Common sense. This can you see this?
Yes, ma'am, I know.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. Seriously, characters.
Can we see how they are making it?
No.
Ma'am, they want to give up the picture of
This is a parapet.
Okay, look at the YouTube video.
No. Okay. And so they would climb. They were so excited, so they would get whichever corner of the town to reach the level of the basket to peep into it. That kind of it, because it was for a child. If he's put it on a bamboo and he's an adult, definitely the basket height is more. The child cannot peep in. So and the plus this one has scolded that move away from here because they had to select the breads. There were different kinds of bread which he brought, right? So the children would climb on the parapet wall and just to peep into what was there in the basket. And I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. Anytime you pass a bakery, and especially when you have this fresh bread, it tempts you. It wants you feel like eating it. Like the same thing like your vada pav. If you have that hot vada, the smell of it, the whiff of it makes you tempted to eat, correct? Same with the loaf of bread. If it is freshly baked and it is just out of the oven and he would carry the basket and bakers would roam with that. So you get that fresh whiff of that bread. It is so tempting, your mouth will start watering, that kind of thing. So that's what he's remembering. You know, as a child, he remember these bakers roaming on the road and they would carry this huge basket of bread which had variety of bread in it. Okay? Loaves for the elders and the bangles for the children, because bangles were sweet. As I said, it had sugar coating on it. So you know the children like the donut. What you have nowadays, you have donuts, not the mat for donut one, round donut. I'm talking about those in bakeries you get the long donuts which had cream filling in it.
उसे donut बोलते हैं.
Cream
पाव होता है.
Cream पाव होता है.
पाव.
Oh,
पूसा cream. आई पता है.
Packet. 12 रुपए का मिलता है cream पाव होता है. Strawberry flavor.
पाव होता है. वो लाली पाव.
excuse me, come back.
मैम दिखा दो सबसे.
Okay.
वही.
Loaves for the elders and bangles for the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouth properly. This tells you how excited they would just directly eat it. Okay? They would directly eat it. It's as simple as that. Something which is, if your mother is cooking anything hot in the kitchen, which is your favorite, you do not go directly and wash your hands and legs. You go directly in the kitchen to flick and to eat.
Oh, no.
My mom made
Then mommy will feed you from there. Correct. Okay. Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? And this again tells you in those times they used to use mango leaf to
For brushing the teeth.
correct. Again, showing you at that particular time, in that means it is years ago. That he is remembering how there was at that time. Now you will not find bakers around the roads going and selling their stuff. People go to the bakers, but there are so many things which are not available now. You had initially there were so many. Now you have your Italy fellows going out. Similarly,
on site.
similarly at that particular time there were bakers like that who would go. What? What?
The next person who sells the
Bread.
Tricycle में बेचते हैं.
Correct. Hot tea, and then the tiger never brushed his teeth. That is, he's comparing himself with tiger. The tiger doesn't brush the teeth, so children also, why should we brush the teeth? Hot tea, so wash and clean up everything so nicely after. Alright, marriage gives some meaning is without, as I said, it is considered to be auspicious. Bowl, what I showed you just now, is considered to be very auspicious. Okay, so without sweet bread known as bowl, just as a party or a feast loses charm without bread. So every especially I'm talking about Goan weddings. Goan weddings, I'm talking about, they have this Christian weddings, right? In the Christian weddings,
go on Christian
Christian wedding में होता क्या?
in the Christian wedding, the reception when you have cake.
खाना नहीं रहता होगा.
रहता होगा.
केक के ऊपर ये डाल के देते हैं.
Are you listening?
Sorry, ma'am.
Sorry.
Sorry. Because
अरे तूने तो खाना बोला है.
Finish.
अरे मैं बोली थी कि irritating लगता है. मैं बोले sorry.
calculate
Finish.
minus
आपको
per
ऐसे ये कर
चुप यार.
सीधा.
Everyone's
ये कर
quiet.
सकते हैं.
I'm like this.
You waste time, I waste
No,
time.
sorry, ma'am. Sorry, I will say ma'am.
शांत रहना. चिल्लाती
As I was saying, in Goan weddings, whenever you will have counters where you will have bread, you will have bowl also in that particular, like how you have your pani puri and chaat counters and every wedding and all that. Similarly, in the Goan weddings, as you are very curious about it, it is after the wedding when they raise the toast. That means they wish the happy couple, as in the married couple, for their married life, happy married life. They raise the toast. They do give cake and wine. Okay, and wine is not alcoholic because it doesn't have alcohol content. Wine, depending on your having only this much, you're not having the full bottle of wine.
Yes, ma'am.
Even that
me also, but I didn't.
you can normally chill, like you can have a little. It doesn't matter.
Ask the wine
But
company.
because it is a tradition, Christian tradition to offer a toast to the married couple. Okay, that is that. So answering that question, yes, when we were talking about a reception, how you have your chaat and pani puri counter and all the food items, the same way instead of keeping chapatis, they will keep bread, and they definitely will keep bowl because bowl is very that kind of it's a kind of bread, but as I said, not like a bread. It will be have that typical naan khatai kind of a thing. You had naan khatai business. The biscuits, that is like, it has a coconut flavor in it. Some people like it, some people don't because it's extremely sweet. So that will all be offered there because it is considered something to be auspicious. Like how you give sweets, right? Like that. So that is why a party is never complete. So when you're having whichever feast you all are having at that particular time in Goa, definitely they will give you both. One of those particular things. Alright, not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village, because without the bakery staff, definitely any function will not be complete. Okay, then the lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on occasion of daughter's engagement. As I said, it was predominantly a bread eating community, the Goans. So when the daughter's engagement were there, they would make different kinds of sandwiches. So definitely bread is required. So baker was one of the essential person in the community. Cakes and bolinhas are a must on a Christmas as well as the wedding. I am showing you before you ask me, because if I go and should tell you, it will.
Bowl bread with wine.
I swear to God, if I don't, this is called that. Otherwise, by the time I explain to you, I will lose my head.
eyesight.
अभी आम है
It is mango. I didn't know that.
मैं मोदी वाला वो वाला उसमें
This is called the bulinas.
Bulinas.
Okay. Yes, it is kind of that.
Yes,
अब रेसिपी दिखा.
Are you planning to make?
make?
Okay. Cakes and bulinas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Thus, the presence of baker's furnace in a village is absolutely essential because that, like, the bread being interwoven and the baking products being interwoven in that culture. In Goan culture, you will find a bakery every nook and corner. Understood? And you'll find those furnaces. As I said, your furnaces are your ovens where these are cooked. You do not have the timer one ovens. You have the open fireplaces. I hope you remember how pizzas are made in
Yes,
that
ma'am.
open furnaces. The same furnaces where bread and biscuits and cakes are baked. Yes. The baker or the bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as kabai. Kabai, as I said,
Kebab.
this is your
Kabai.
kabai. Understood? As I said, it's like your kaftan.
ये क्या है
This is known as a kabai.
अबे दिखने का कोई इसमें
Can you see? This is the padder.
आप क्या भी सो बैठे
Oda jumbo.
What for that?
अब चादर लपेट कर आ गए.
So this is how.
Ma'am, we can't
Ma'am,
see
the problem is not wearing a
ये क्या
हिंदी में भी.
glimpses of India.
इंग्लिश को हिंदी
Here. This is the person. How this is? See, remember, it has something to help it stand. This is the kabai. Yes.
वो कपड़ा कबाई है
This is the dress. Is
Ma'am,
called kabai.
possible.
अब वो स्पेन में पहनते हैं वो पूरा रबी का
Poncho जैसा.
हाँ
poncho जैसे सब.
Long
अरे
Okay. It was a single piece long frock reached down. What is a kabai is given there?
down to the knees. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full-length ones and longer than half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees, it might say common that he is dressed like a pattern. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. The baker and his family never starved. He, his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. The plump physique was an open testimony to this. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker.
Jackfruit. You know what is jackfruit?
Yes.
Yes.
And I love
जैकफ्रूट
jackfruit.
क्या होता है
अरे वो बड़ा सा होता है ना.
The green one. Oh, that is.
I know that.
Yes, it is called as kathal.
Kathal.
Eggplant.
Eggplant is brinjal or vegan.
अरे गवार
ये गवार सब्जी भी है गवार भी है. हमें चौड़े से very rough like
It is thorny.
भिंडी तो
And now you get it because that was the season of jackfruit. Because when it is raw, you make vegetables out of it. When it is sweet, you can eat it. The fruit, you can eat it. And it
also.
smells
Trash.
absolutely sweet.
Like
Okay, clear with this? So, what shows that he is prosperous? What shows that the baker and his family was prosperous? What does plump physique mean?
jackfruit like
What does jackfruit like physique mean?
bad body.
Correct. He's basically, when you say plump, is basically fat. When you have a protruding like that, you put a tondumal. Like you talk about he's a wealthy person by the way he looks and dresses like that. Yes. Seriously, you're going there?
Sorry.
Why we are going?
Alright, Kurk.
Yo, कैसा दिख रहा था?
Read.
Kurk is a piece of heaven in midway between Mysore and a coastal town of Bangalore. Mangalore. Ma'am, the spelling is
Bangalore.
अरे मैंगलोर होती है एक जगह भाई मैंगलोर
Actually, Mangalore is in Karnataka, Bangalore is somewhere else.
ये मंगलोर
Bangalore.
Mangaluru. Mangaluru is making it. It is Bangalore, not Mangaluru.
मैंगलोर है पर बेंगलुरु है
Okay, continue.
It is the smallest district of Karnataka. It has evergreen forests, spices, coffee plantations. The perfect weather commences from September to March. Coffee estates and colonial bungalows stand tucked under canopies in prime corners. People of Kurg are of Greek and Arabic descent. Their traditional dress resembles the kufiya worn by the Arabs and Kurds.
Girls.
Their homes have a tradition of hospitality. Even now, Kodavus are the only people in India permitted to carry firearms without a license. The river Kaveri obtains its water from the hills and forests of Kurg. Mahisar and kingfisher dive for their catch. Many animals like squirrels, langurs, and elephants, etc., are seen in the forest. Adventure sports like river rafting, canoeing, rappelling, rock climbing, mountain biking, and trekking. Many birds, bees, and butterflies accompany the tourists. India's largest tibetan settlement nearby Bailakupe. It is a bonus for visitors in Kurg.
Yeah, Kurg is one of the tourist destinations if you can get a chance to go to Kurg because it is very scenic.
मैम
Look at
got
this.
the chance but it was something around 55,000
Yeah, so
for
this
2 days
is
3 nights.
this
Sorry,
is the
3 days,
waterfall.
3
This is the
nights.
tea plantation. You can see this is the valley from where the Kaveri River flows. This is the actually they are of the Arabic descent, right? So this is basically their dressing style. This is the animals which you will find. This is the kingfisher. There's mahasir is a type of a fish. Okay, and they are the actually this is the first general, and they are the only ones in India up till now, till date, who are allowed to carry firearms without
They're
license.
very loyal and trustworthy.
Yes, and that is talking about like it is a great honor for our them like for our country also basically because firearms are weapons. Without license, you cannot keep a firearm in your house. But in Kurg, they are the only tribe or the only community allowed to keep firearms without. So it is, as I said, imagine what kind of loyalty they have and what kind of reputation they have that they are the only people in the India who are allowed to keep firearms without license.
But like in the USA side, like it is.
In USA also you are not allowed
So
to
US,
keep firearms without license.
But it is not that strict.
It is not
No.
that strict there, but if you caught and if we don't have the license for the firearms, you can be jailed. And then jail rule is very, very, very tough. Huh? It is not lenient, it's not corrupt like how India is. They are once you're jailed, you cannot get out in probation very, very easily. Please understand the rules are very, very tough there. Here at least you once you're jailed somewhere or the other, you give the money sometimes and they get if you have the money happens. That's what. Okay, read. Kaushik.
Midway between Mysore and the coastal town of Mangalore
Sites or sits.
It's a piece of heaven that must have drifted from the kingdom of God.
Yes, drifted from the kingdom of God, as in like literally dropped from heaven, and like as if it is coming, like how cotton flies when it, or the feather flies, have you seen feather? Like it will slowly drift down to the floor. Like that. Coorg is that kind of places which is so scenic and so beautiful. One of my, I want to go and visit. I have not visited, but I have heard a lot about Coorg, and it's one of the destination I want to go. It's like, have backwaters in Kerala, that kind of scenic beauty which is very peaceful, which is like very pleasing to the eyes, which is like, rejuvenates you, refreshes you. That kind of beauty it has. So that's why the author compares that it is a piece of heaven. When that kind of place which gives you so much of pleasure and so much of peace, it is heaven for you. Because ultimately, what is heaven is something which you like, it makes you happy and makes you peaceful, right? So that the land of rolling hills is inhabited by a proud race of martial men. So they are people who have martial arts. They know martial arts, and that's what they are. Beautiful women and wild creatures. So there are various wild creatures also there. As I said, if you feel like you when you visit it, you feel like uh, basically heaven on earth. That time. Continue.
Coorg and Kodagu, the smallest district of Karnataka is
Kodagu. Kodagu was the original name, like how Bangalore changed to Bangalore, like that. It changed to Coorg. Kodagu changed to Coorg. Bangalore was there, like how it was first it was Bombay, then it changed to Mumbai, like that. Bangalore changed to Bangalore. Madras changes to Chennai. So read.
Is home to evergreen rainforests, spices and coffee plantations. Evergreen forests cover 30% of this district. During the monsoon.
Enough.
During the monsoon, it cools enough to keep many visitors away. The season of joy commences from September and continues till March.
Okay, so this is the May. These are the months where tourists comes. Otherwise, during July till July, August, September, August, it is rainy season. You know that. And in the rainy season, because it is rainforest, remember wherever there is rainforest, the rains are very, very heavy. Very heavy. That means your going out becomes inaccessible. You cannot access the roads. You cannot access you. So it blocks you. So people don't prefer to go in the rainy season, but they go in kind of when the beginning of winter kind of season. Okay, so July to March. From July to March is your winter and your summer season, right? So that's the time. Rainy season they don't go. Okay, so that is the time they prefer to visit Coorg. That's the best time to visit Coorg rather, because 30% it is covered 30% by forest, rainforest, that too. Evergreen forest, we call it evergreen forest. Amazon, if you remember that Amazon forest, it is a rainforest. Why? Because it rains continuously, because like trees are there. There is, so that's why it rains continuously. So at that particular time, it becomes very difficult to travel through the forest. The same way, because 30% of evergreen trees are there, so that means the rains what they get are like Mumbai's rains every day. Imagine like how it was raining today, continuously heavily it was raining. Like that, imagine raining 3 months of a year. So that's why rainy season is not preferable for them. They are visiting, this one is September to March, winter and summer.
The weather is perfect, with some showers thrown in for good weather. The air breathes of invigorating,
Invigorating.
invigorating coffee seeds and
You know what is invigorating?
No.
It refreshes you. Invigorating is something. No, it refreshes. Like coffee smell early morning for me is invigorating. It energizes me. It like it makes me, gives me back that kind of energy to face life. Otherwise, morning early, it's a pain. The air breeze is invigorating. Coffee estates and colonial bungalows. What does colonial bungalows mean? What does colonial mean?
Big.
I'm very old when we're British.
What does colonial mean?
Ma'am, where it is?
Ma'am, when British.
What does colonial mean?
Colonizers. Yes, British colonization.
मैं कब से बोल
Dutch.
तो open your mouth and say ना.
मैम कब से बोल रहा हूँ
Hindi.
Hindi.
Thank you. The word comes from when India was colonized.
I knew that.
That you knew that, to give me the correct answer. How many times they say you go round and round to catch your nose? Nose has to be caught like this, not this way round. It's as simple. So colonial bungalows, when we talk about, is during the British eras, what bungalows were made, those kind of huge, massive, luxurious bungalows which you don't have in Mumbai.
No one can.
Thank you. Stand tucked under trees, canopies. You know what is canopies now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Intertanglement of branches
Yes.
form a canopy.
Huh?
अरे
Canopy like covering.
See, that forms shelter. I'm saying there are trees and then the branch carriers form like this.
I'm like covering that form shelter.
Dense.
Yes, yes, yes.
I agree. She was smarter than you. She's read the definition of it.
I was trying to explain it.
It's I know.
Anyone could have read it. I tried to explain it.
Thank you. I know what a canopy was. I wanted to know what do you mean by that in simpler words.
And action.
Yes, I didn't. If I was playing Damsharad, I would appreciate that.
Roof like covering that form shelters.
Now tell me where do you find canopies?
Side
In the
of
jungle.
Jungles.
Are you crazy?
For me, I'm cool.
I'm in a chai tapri, we can see.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
See. Thank you.
Canopies can be found in a circus.
It's
It's a roof-like structure. In a circus, you can find a canopy. In this one, you can find the canopy chai tapri, where they that kind of roof they construct, temporary roof. But at least he had brains.
They're not really
Thank you. You cannot associate one word without understanding the connotation of a canopy. You can't give me one. Like this the tree forms, no? Seriously?
Wow, I did it after one lecture.
I do not appreciate that. Even after one lecture, that means you still can't control your body. That means your body is controlling you. I doubt. Because you did that, that means you're not controlling your body. Understood what is a canopy. Remember, when you're doing literature or English, you cannot associate one word. One word can be used in different ways. So don't do that. I don't like it.
Ma'am, there is also like animal name, something like this.
Huh?
कोई जानवर
YouTube shorts देखते हैं.
The pronounce porcupine, that is.
Sorry.
Maybe.
Okay. So basically why? Because these coffee estates and colonial bungalows stand tucked between the tree canopies in prime corners. Prime corners is prime locations, what we talk about in Mumbai, like that. So, yes. The fiercely independent people of Kurd are possibly of Greek or Arabic descent. That means their ancestry was either Greek or Arabic. Like remember, Goa is Portuguese. You are learning about different cultures and traditions. We have people.
India.
India is made of different people, as in how we have different communities. That's what is portrayed here. That's like glimpses of India. Your Kurg is a part of India, but the people living in Kurg are the ones who have come from Arabia and from Greece. Or we are.
अभी थोड़ी ना आए हैं साल पहले
Like the Mughals, when they came from Persia and Turkey. They were not Indian Indians. And Afghanistan, you have different places where they came from. It was not India, but they were part of India, right?
Later was from the Pakistan.
Then that is the beauty of India. You're learning. That's why it is called glimpses of India, because you're learning about various people from various world who became a part of India, and they are known as Indians, but they can trace their ancestry to Greece and Arab. or they can trace their ancestry to Portuguese. Do you know that they still go with the Portuguese? They have a Portuguese passport and they are allowed to enter Portugal on that passport.
Even now.
Yes.
For free.
If they can prove that they are Portuguese descent, they can make a Portuguese passport and they can go.
I know blood tests.
Blood not test. They have the ancestries, paperwork of the
How do you
ancestries.
find their ancestry?
What do you mean? How do
Wait,
you
there
find?
are new
You also
answers.
can find your ancestry.
How?
How? That is I'm not my concern. That is not my concern.
मेरे दादा का नाम